The year is 1536, a year that will be etched in the annals of history for its dramatic and tragic events. The air is thick with anticipation, a palpable tension that grips the hearts of all who are present. A chill wind whips through the Tower of London, carrying with it whispers of fate and destiny. Crowds gather, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity. They have come from far and wide, drawn by the promise of witnessing a momentous event. They are here to witness a spectacle, one that will be recounted for generations to come. The execution of a queen who once held the love and favor of the most powerful man in England. Anne Boleyn, once the most powerful woman in England, is about to meet her maker. Her crime? Treason. But was it truly treason, or merely the result of political machinations and personal vendettas? But the whispers tell a different story. A story shrouded in intrigue and deception. A story of love, power and betrayal. A tale where the lines between friend and foe are blurred, and trust is a rare commodity. Anne's story is a tragedy of Shakespearean proportions, a drama that unfolds with all the elements of a classic play: ambition, passion, and a fatal flaw. It is a tale set against the backdrop of Tudor England, a world of opulent palaces, treacherous plots, and a king obsessed with securing his legacy. A legacy that would come at a great cost. Henry VIII, a man of immense power and insatiable appetites, will stop at nothing to get what he wants. His desires are as vast as his kingdom, and his will is unyielding. Anne Boleyn, a woman of intelligence, wit, and ambition, dared to capture the heart of a king. She played the game of courtly love and intrigue with skill and daring. She rose to become his queen, only to be brought down by the very forces that propelled her to power. Her ascent was swift, but her fall was even swifter. This is the story of her downfall, a downfall that would echo through the corridors of history, leaving an indelible mark on the legacy of the Tudor dynasty. Anne Boleyn's story begins far from the tumult of the English court. Born into a noble family, she spent her formative years in the refined courts of Europe, first in the Netherlands, then in the sophisticated court of France. Anne blossomed under the tutelage of French courtiers. She developed a sharp intellect, impeccable manners, and a taste for fashion and the arts. Unlike the English roses of the court, Anne possessed a certain allure. Her dark hair, piercing gaze, and quick wit set her apart. She was a woman of substance, not just beauty. These qualities, which initially captivated Henry, would later contribute to her downfall. When Anne returned to England, she caught the eye of King Henry VIII. Henry, already married to Catherine of Aragon, became enamored. He showered Anne with gifts and attention. Anne, however, was not easily swayed. She was not content to be just another royal mistress. Henry, obsessed with securing a male heir, saw Anne as his solution. Catherine, after years of marriage, had failed to produce a son. Henry, a devout Catholic, sought an annulment. The Pope's refusal set in motion a chain of events that would shatter the very foundations of the Church. Henry's desire for Anne had ignited a firestorm. The annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon was a direct challenge to the authority of the Catholic Church. England, once a pillar of Catholicism, found itself on the brink of a religious revolution. Anne, now at the center of a political and religious maelstrom, became a figure of controversy. She was accused of bewitching the king, of using her influence to manipulate him. The pressure on Anne was immense. She was expected to secure her position by providing Henry with the son he so desperately craved. In 1533, Henry VIII defied the Pope and declared his marriage to Catherine null and void. He married Anne in a secret ceremony. Anne Boleyn, the woman who had captivated the king, was now Queen of England. Her coronation was a lavish affair, a testament to her triumph over adversity. However, the shadow of Catherine of Aragon and the wrath of the Catholic Church loomed large. Anne's position was precarious. She was surrounded by enemies, those who resented her influence over the king and the religious upheaval she represented. Anne's reign as queen was short-lived. She ascended to the throne with high hopes and dreams, but her time in power was fraught with challenges and uncertainties. She gave birth to a daughter, Elizabeth, who would later become one of England's greatest monarchs. However, Anne failed to produce the male heir Henry so desperately desired, a son who would secure the Tudor dynasty. The king, known for his volatile temper and wandering eye, grew increasingly frustrated. His restlessness was palpable and his dissatisfaction began to show. Henry began to tire of Anne. The once passionate love that had united them started to wane, replaced by doubt and suspicion. The love that had once burned so brightly began to flicker and fade, casting long shadows over their relationship. Whispers of Anne's supposed infidelity began to circulate. The court was rife with rumors and innuendo, each whisper adding fuel to the fire of Henry's discontent. Her enemies at court, sensing the king's growing discontent, seized the opportunity to plot her downfall. They saw an opening and were quick to exploit it. Seizing the moment, they began to weave a web of deceit and betrayal, aiming to remove Anne from her position of power. Among them was Thomas Cromwell, a man of great influence and even greater ambition. Cromwell, with his cunning and strategic mind, saw Anne as an obstacle to his own rise to power. He was determined to see her fall. With meticulous planning and ruthless execution, Cromwell and his allies set the stage for Anne's tragic end, forever altering the course of history. Thomas Cromwell, a master of political maneuvering, recognized the shifting tides of power. He saw Anne's vulnerability and exploited it ruthlessly. Cromwell, a staunch advocate for the Protestant Reformation, also viewed Anne's continued influence as a threat to his vision for England's religious future. Cromwell, with his network of spies and informants, began to weave a web of deceit around Anne. He planted seeds of doubt in Henry's mind, fueling the king's paranoia and suspicions. In May of 1536, Anne was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. The charges against her were shocking: adultery, treason, and incest. Her alleged lovers, men of the court, were also arrested and accused of conspiring with Anne against the king. The speed and severity of Anne's downfall sent shockwaves throughout the kingdom. Many believed, and still believe, that the charges against Anne were fabricated, that she was the victim of a ruthless conspiracy orchestrated by her enemies, led by the Machiavellian Thomas Cromwell. Anne's imprisonment in the Tower of London was a stark contrast to her former life as queen. The Tower, once a symbol of her power, was now her prison. The cold, damp walls closing in on her. She was kept in relative comfort, but the psychological toll was immense. Anne, despite the charges leveled against her, maintained her innocence. She wrote letters to Henry, proclaiming her love and loyalty, pleading for her life. Her pleas, however, fell on deaf ears. Henry, consumed by paranoia and manipulated by Cromwell, had already decided her fate. On May 17, 1536, Anne Boleyn was led to the scaffold erected within the Tower of London. She faced her death with dignity and grace. In her final moments, she addressed the crowd, proclaiming her innocence and expressing her loyalty to the king. Anne's execution was swift. A single blow from the executioner's sword ended the life of the woman who had once been the most powerful queen in England. Her body was buried in an unmarked grave within the tower, a final indignity to a queen whose reign had been brutally cut short. Section 11. Anne's enduring legacy. The Queen who shaped England. Anne Boleyn, a name that echoes through the annals of history, is often remembered for her tragic end. But her story is much more than a tale of downfall. Anne Boleyn's story, though tragic, is not without its triumphs. She was a key figure in one of the most transformative periods in English history. She played a pivotal role in the English Reformation, paving the way for the establishment of the Church of England. Her influence extended beyond her lifetime, altering the religious landscape of the nation forever. Her daughter Elizabeth would go on to become one of England's greatest monarchs. Elizabeth I's reign, often referred to as the Golden Age, was marked by prosperity, cultural flourishing, and the strengthening of the English state. Anne's legacy is complex and multifaceted. She was not just a queen but a mother, a reformer, and a symbol of change. She was a woman who dared to challenge the status quo, a woman of intellect and ambition who rose to the pinnacle of power, only to be brought down by the very forces she helped to unleash. Her courage and determination left an indelible mark on history. Her story serves as a reminder of the fickle nature of power, the dangers of ambition, and the enduring power of love and betrayal. Anne Boleyn's life and legacy continue to captivate and inspire, a testament to her enduring impact on the world.